All right, guys, I am here at my house, and I've got Chris LoPiccolo here with me. We actually have known each other for a lot longer than I knew we knew each other.
Yeah.
And then you showed up to do some CrossFit, and then you're throwing down Spartan races and just working hard.
Yeah.
So I will tell you this. I've been super impressed to see how much you do and what you do. You're a hustler. So sometimes the generations get bad raps, but you are motivated, you're working, and you go for it. So let's start with this. Tell us a little bit about your background athletic-wise. What did you do growing up?
Growing up, I played just about everything.
Okay.
So I did soccer for 9 years, 18 seasons. Basketball.
I told you I'm in a tangent a lot, right? Yeah. So now, you said soccer. That's like the sport for the McCanns. Where'd you play?
I mainly played for YMCA.
Okay, cool. So the strikers and the whatevers, the different parks around here?
Yeah. I tried out for NASA when I was younger. I didn't make it, so I just stuck with YMCA.
Like the club team?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have... Evie played there for a year, and that is aggressive. There's a lot of...
Oh, yeah.
Man, yeah, I didn't realize how big soccer was until we moved over to that club. I'm like, there's like 152,008 girls here. That's insane. That's like the entire girls program at our old club. It was insane.
Yeah, it's a major program.
Yeah. So soccer?
I did soccer, and then I did basketball too for another 10 years at the same time.
Okay.
So I'd interchange. It was soccer, spring and fall, basketball in the winter.
Nothing like an indoor sport.
Exactly,
Yeah.
That news, I got to use my hands now.
Yeah,
rather
true.
than just using my feet, and you're not allowed to touch the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I was goalie for a little bit, so I did in that aspect, but...
Yeah.
So I played basketball, and then probably around 12, so shortly after, I finished playing soccer, around the time I started finishing, I got into bowling.
Ooh.
So then, got into that, started...
Did you get that sweet curve thing that able to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny to watch people when they go bowl. Most everyone, spins their hand sideways. You're like, that's not what you're doing. But, I mean, I like the intent.
Yeah.
But it's
not going to work that way, no.
What poundage? Is that the right... What poundage did you get to? What was the right poundage for you?
I started out at 12.
Okay.
As a beginning bowler. And
so that's the beginning weight?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, because that's
when
what
you're
I
12
still
years
use.
old, you use a 12-pound
I still use a 12-pound ball. And my hands and my thumb, everything about bowling hurts me.
Yeah.
I can't do it well at all. And I'm usually good at, weird, unusual...
Yeah.
I just can't. Okay, so you started a 12-pound ball and then eventually...
Eventually worked my way up to where I am now. I'm at 15.
Oh, dang,
the highest you can get is 16. I stuck at 15 just because I like the weight.
Yeah.
And I went from one-handed because when I started bowling... I would hook on the left side of the lane, but I'm right-handed. And that's called a backup ball.
Okay.
And so did that all through youth and into college. And once I got my college scholarship for it, the coach at the time looked at me and said, that's not going to fly in college tournaments.
Really?
Because I didn't have the control.
Yeah.
That you need for different oil patterns. Because there's a lot more into bowling than people realize.
Yeah, you just mentioned things that, I know the floor is slippery, but...
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that would make sense. They grease it on this side, or...
Yeah.
So, who did I just talk? Jamie Thomas and Jordan Thomas. They just went curling.
Okay.
Here in Georgia.
That's always looked like an interesting
sport. They're greasing
the
skids, not really greasing, but they're wiping it down to let the bowling ball thing, whatever.
Yeah.
The
so
curl.
From what I understand with that sport, it's a stone.
Yes. Oh, right.
And they throw the stone, and what they're doing with those is that they're actually softening the ice, so that way it will go further.
Yeah, and you can turn it somehow if you. Yeah, so you can't do that in bowling.
The ice in a certain way, it's a whole complicated thing.
Yeah. Once you let go, it's over.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I bowl, I like to kick my back foot out right when it's about to hit the pins, like it's doing something. I don't know why, but every time I'm like, why did my foot... I'm like...
Oh, you'd be surprised at stuff you'll see, getting into bowling. There's people, as soon as they let go of it, as soon as it hits, they slide over all the way to the left. Yeah.
And that's just their...
You just do it. You know it's going to hit as soon as you let go, and you just get excited about it.
It's going in. I bet you... I would guess in the sport, bowling, where it's just don't mess up. You need to do it perfect every time.
Yeah.
That there's probably a lot of ritual involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
did you have a certain ritual, you touch your eyebrows and then your ears and then
not in that
wipe
aspect.
your hands and
if you watch pro bowling, you'll see people sometimes they'll blow into their thumb hole or it looks like they're kissing their ball or something.
Yeah.
Basically, that's to get all your muscle memory lined up for that shot.
Right.
So whenever I go up, I grab my ball, wipe it off with a towel,
and
then I put the towel down and I set up. And then you stand there for a second, And so the boards, you go by each board. Each board's an inch. And when you move 1 inch on the board, your ball moves 6 inches on the lane.
Okay.
So when you're moving
That's
like
if you have
quarter
accuracy
board.
and aim. So for me, it's no matter where I stand, it's going in the gutter. So and when you said you switched, you were doing like a right hand from the hook side.
Yeah.
And then you said I went two-handed. So in my mind, immediately I went to, this is how we went down and did some like 10-pin thing down in downtown Atlanta. It was this little teeny like bowling ball. And what I would do is like turn around, like I was about to granny throw it, but I just tucked it between my legs.
Okay.
So I could aim it right, and it went pretty straight. But that's not what you mean with two hands.
No. So with two hands, with a one-hander, you have your 2 finger holes and a thumb hole.
Yep.
With 2 hands, you don't have a thumb hole anymore. So it's just your fingers, and you have your other left hand there to support it.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, your wrist will be dead by the second game.
Yeah. Mine's always dead by the first frame, so that's probably my problem. I'm too weak in my wrists. And there goes the dog digging to China. I'm not sure why.
He's a great pair of knees.
That's what they
China.
do.
He's trying to go home.
Probably so. I don't know what's happening over there. So you use the other one to support it, and that way it doesn't slip out of your hand.
Basically, yeah.
And then,
so that's there all the way through until I go to release the ball.
Yeah.
And once my wrist drops and I go to torque on the ball, get the spin out of it. That's
torque,
my
not
left
twerk.
hand. Yeah.
Torque is a very 80s word, and then and now it's like they changed all
made
my
it into
words.
something
So what is I think a perfect score is 320?
300.
300.
Yes.
Have you gotten a 300?
No.
Okay, yeah.
In 13 years of bowling, I have not gotten a 300. I have gotten a 279, which is a strike every single frame except for one. It's a 9 spare.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've done that 4 or 5 times.
Oh, wow.
And then I've gotten an unofficial 300 per se.
Yeah.
It was all strikes, and then in the 4th frame, when I went to go throw it, my wrist just broke underneath me, and so it just dropped the ball right into the gutter. Oh. And then I got a strike for the spare. So technically, I got the strike, but
it doesn't count like that.
No, so I finished with a 270 that game.
Right. Wow, that's pretty interesting. So the I guess I'm not really ashamed to say it because it's just true, and this is who I am. But my bowling score and my golf score are right about the same, and they're both really bad. So it's like 111, 112, like. It's really bad. So, yeah.
It's okay. My golf score, it's right there with my bowling score.
Okay,
it's like
so
200 and
300?
200.
So, when I was a traveling sales guy, I started, the customer was like, hey, we going golfing? I'm like, remember, I'm the engineer guy that'll fix things. I don't golf with you. And they're like, you got to come play golf with us. I'm like, fine, whatever. And they really just wanted me to pay for golf. And so I realized they didn't really care what I did as long as I basically paid for it. And so I would just buy a whole bunch of X-out balls, and then wherever they hit, I would just go drop a ball right there and be like, let's go. And I would hit from there. And I don't know where the hell it would go. And then we would just drop another ball. I'm like, as long as y'all are having fun, this is the dumbest thing in the world to me. But
for me, I can only land it on the green if it hooks to the right.
Right. Yes.
I'll get to the pro shop there, and I'll be like, where's all your used balls?
Right.
Like the cheapest ones.
That's
I'll get a bag of like 50. They'll all be gone by the 9th hole.
Yeah. So there used to be I went to Georgia Tech, and there still is, not used to be, there still is a course down there. I think it's like Candler Park, and it's not exactly a par 3. Maybe it is, but it was like you could go out there and just knock around for like $5. Of course, you may get mugged, but I mean, we're college kids, so they're like, give us your money. We're like, I don't have any. What do you want?
I gave it over to the car girl, I swear.
I don't have anything. Yeah, so it was pretty funny. Okay, so you bowled in college then?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I bowled for 2 years at Life University in Marietta.
Oh, yeah, very nice. Yeah.
So that alone, that's kind of where the aspect of the CrossFit workouts got introduced to me.
Nice segue. I didn't even have to do it. I like this, yeah.
And I didn't even know it. So at the time, I was still overweight.
Yeah.
It was right out of high school.
Yeah.
And the way our scheduling was, Monday, Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. we had weight training. Mm-hmm. Tuesday, Thursdays we had bowling practice, and then Friday through Sunday we were traveling for tournaments.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, all the time. Trying to find a job to do that too was a major pain in the butt.
Right,
but
good control of your words there. So not
exactly.
It's supposed to be PG-13, but who knows what happens on a podcast.
And so went there. In the weightlifting, obviously, people think of bowling. It's like, what do you do? Curl a 25-pound dumbbell with your right arm,
right?
Like all this stuff. And going there, it was CrossFit workouts.
Oh, really?
It was constant moving. You're kind of stationed, in a way, but it had the weightlifting aspect of CrossFit as well.
So, like they would say, like a high intensity circuit based training.
Yeah.
So you would move from thing to thing to thing, but you had some sort of barbell.
Yeah. So like we had deadlifts mixed in, or back squats, front squats.
That's it.
And
I mean, people like to say, they're like, well, I just went out for a jog. I'm like, that's CrossFit. Did you jog every day? That would become not so much CrossFit.
No.
But are you just mixing up things and you go as hard as you can and you let creativity kind of push you? Yeah, that's fine. You're just cross-functional fitness. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so which those movements I was in love with because I did them in high school because I did a little bit of football in high school as well. So all those movements, I was like, this is amazing. And I'm overweight, but I'm lifting the same as these guys. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I was there for 2 years. Got to go to Vegas with it.
Ooh.
We went to Kentucky a bunch of times. Went to California once.
Yeah. So where's the big bowling tournaments? Like when you make it to the
Kentucky.
Okay.
At the end we have the championships. So it's NAIA rather than SEC.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
NCAA, I should say.
Yeah.
We're NAIA, and we would have our championships in Kentucky, where like our conference headquarters was.
Like Louisville or
right around that area.
Okay.
Yeah. We're in Louisville a lot, actually.
That would be fun. I tried to play college sports, and so today I learned Aaron Vincent grabbed one of the longer arm stretchy whatever the PVC pipes.
Yeah.
And he tilted it up like he was about to go do like the approach for a pole vault. I'm like, no way he knows what he's doing. And then he actually like took a step back and he put his foot up. I'm like, dude, did you pole vault? Because that is exactly what you're supposed to do. He's like, yeah, I pole vaulted forever. I'm like, weirdly, so did I. So like 3 heads turned. They're like, aren't you a little too short to pole vault? I'm like, yes. In the 80s, they didn't know that. They're like, get out there, do whatever you want to do. So I tried to do college sports. Realized quickly that one, I wasn't made for that sport, and two, it is really hard to do college and do all of the stuff they want you to do.
It's extremely difficult.
Yeah, it's like it. Well, one, I would have failed out of tech if I'd stuck with it because there's no way. It got really hard, and I'm not that smart. So. Yeah. But yeah, so the time commitment, and at least in your sport, you get like you're in the game for the whole game. Pole vaulting is you have like 10 seconds jump, and then
you're waiting.
If you missed, you're out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, maybe you get 3 shots, but. Oh man! So you were living up here in Woodstock, or were you down there? Okay.
I was born and raised here on 92. Okay. My entire life I've lived in
Where'd
Woodstock.
you go to? So was it River Ridge? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Growing up, it wasn't.
Yeah.
So growing up, I went to Arnold Mill.
Sure.
And entire time growing up, I'm going to Sequoia.
Yeah.
Because that was the only high school closest to us.
And then
I want to say I was in 5th or 6th grade when we started building River Ridge.
Okay.
And that's when I found out, no, you're actually going to River Ridge, not Sequoia. And
they are so close to each other as well.
Yeah.
That dog is going to...
Not as close as Etowah and Woodstock, though.
Yeah.
They're literally a quarter mile from each other.
I guess it's wherever they get the land donated. They're like, we'll take it.
And so, with Mill Creek being built and River Ridge being built, it got finished my 6th grade year.
Okay.
And so, with that being built, that's when Georgia changed 6th grade's now in middle school.
Right.
So then I was the last 6th grade class at Arnold Mill.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's so Mill Creek is massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's 3 grades there, whereas it was designed originally for 2.
Oh.
And then Georgia came and said, hey, we're moving 6th grade to middle school.
Right.
And then...
And that is our Great Pyrenees. Doing what he does. So he does do that well. He protects us from not only dry spots on the floor, and right. He also protects us. Anybody that comes up, he's like, I will bark. So he does what he's supposed to do. So so if you went to River Ridge, I had a nephew and a niece go there, Joseph McCann and Caroline McCann.
I knew Caroline.
Did you know Caroline?
Yeah.
Okay, so she just graduated from KSU with a nursing degree and is working. I'm sorry, Caroline, if you listen to this. I don't know where she's working. You want to go inside it? It's cold out here.
It's a little cold.
Yeah, we'll go inside. So she is, so she's working. I don't know where she's working. But, well, let's get in before he comes in. No, you stay out here, you muddy. So, I think she's down in, it might be Northside. Yeah, you can sit there. It might be Northside where I don't think she's a baby factory. I don't know. That's really bad. She's my niece and I'm an uncle. So, and I'm 50. So who knows? I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, as long as you know your kids are doing.
Yeah. Okay. So in this time, so you're going to college. You're so you and I actually knew each other before we knew each other.
Yeah.
So you joined the gym and you're like, hey, you remember me? I'm like, oh, snap. I don't know. So anybody that's not like 45, to me, feels like they're like 20.
That's understandable.
So all of you guys, I'm like Hannah, I was like, you're like 20? She's like, no. I'm like, whatever. And so Coach Danny, I always like, you're like 25, right? And she's like, Andy, no. But thank you. I'm like, whatever, I don't know. So I'm looking at you, I'm like, I don't know. You would have to give me more context. Did we play soccer?
Yeah.
Did I, did we smash cars? But so I have a rental business. And you guys, your mom actually rented a house for me for a couple of years. So that's it. I'm going to kick him outside as well. So we knew each other ahead of time. Oh, sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to be that aggressive. He didn't want to go outside. But let me pause this and see if I can find out to put him outside. So Chris can attest, I didn't actually beat my dog. I just grabbed his collar, and he was like, I don't want to go outside. Yes. So it wasn't me being actually... I would like to be that strong that I can make a dog cry, but I can't. Yeah, Nobody ever says, wow, dude, you on steroids? Because my favorite one was people come in, they're always like, well, CrossFit make me bulky. I'm like, look at me. Not really. You could eat better and maybe take some creatine, but it just makes you who you are.
It also depends on your genetics, too, because some people can build crazy amounts of muscle.
Right. Or... in addition to that, it depends on what muscle you use a lot. So I am very quad-centric in everything I do. Yeah. So my legs are bigger than, I have no traps because I hardly ever shrug on the bar. But if you notice, some people in the gym have bigger traps and maybe normal-ish legs because they shrug. I just don't ever shrug. I don't know why. But when someone reminds me to shrug, I'm like, wow, the bar's so much lighter.
Yeah. See, that's where being overweight came in handy because I always did legs. Yeah. And then starting with CrossFit, I wanted upper body. So now I have both. Yeah.
So let's talk about that journey. So you come to the gym, and what is your primary focus? Why did you decide to do CrossFit?
So it was more of being overweight as a kid. Yeah. It's not fun. No. Kids are brutal.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Imagine being a teenage girl as well. So teenage girls are even more brutal. So at least us guys are a little bit out of it, but yeah. So in general, yes, I'm with you.
And so I was super skinny all the way up until about 9. Okay. And then obviously parents have been divorced my entire life, multiple marriages, whole fun situation. Yeah. Then I started gaining weight, and then get into college, bullied every single day from middle school through high school. Get into college, I'm like, oh, this is different.
Yes. Well, so I try to tell my kids, college is not the same. These people that you just don't get along with, in college, you just don't hang out with them. You just don't even
See, that was the tough part, though, with going to Life University. There's no Greek life. It's a very small private school.
Interesting.
Your friend group is your team.
Okay.
And so
yeah, that makes sense.
It went south. Basically, started getting bullied again there. And it got to a point where I went to a movie. And I had gotten a large slushie, some candy. And the movie ended, didn't finish the slushie, only half the candy, and I was like, why am I doing this? Yeah. I don't even like candy. Yeah. For me, I'm more of a carbs person. I'm Italian.
Yeah, hey. So, LoPiccolo, that's right, yeah.
Carbs have my heart all the way. And so that's when I quit sugar and soda before starting at CrossFit or even really considering CrossFit. It was just the first steps of trying to lose weight. Then I got into boxing for a little bit. Okay. And I was like, I'm not really fully feeling this.
Getting hit in the face.
I want to know how to, I want to know how to fight, but this isn't speaking to me. Right. And so then I saw a Groupon for CrossFit Garage. Yeah. And I was like,
That's a long time ago then. Yeah. So we did do that a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah. So I found out later on, we stopped using them. And 3 years later, they're like, hey, did you know we owed you $5,000? I'm like, I thought you guys weren't paying me, and I asked. And we did them for years and years. So something like that. But yeah, so that's awesome. So you found that, you came in, and
it was more of the comfort aspect of I already know all these movements, weightlifting wise.
Interesting, yeah.
When it came to handstand push-ups, pull-ups, I couldn't do a pull-up, I couldn't do a push-up when I showed up. I was 240 pounds. Yeah. But I knew how to lift weights. Yeah.
I don't even remember... to me, you're just you. Yeah. That's weird. I don't remember the journey, but you're saying you've lost a ton of weight.
If Kirby was here, he'd contest to it. Him and James, they were along for the entire thing. They're the ones I did.
Well, I was there too, but to me, I don't know. You just look like you. I'm probably being old and everyone just looks young. So how much weight have you lost?
At my lowest, I was 155.
Oh, wow.
So I lost 85 pounds.
Dang.
Had skin removal surgery.
Okay.
So now I have a scar from hip to hip. From them removing it on my stomach. And
because there's no way skin is just stretchy. No. Yeah, there's no way.
No.
That's something that nobody ever talks to people about is if you lose a lot of weight, the skin is still there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
The fat goes somewhere, but the skin doesn't.
Right.
Yeah,
and
lost
so,
the elasticity of it.
That's right. And that happens. The same thing is true so I didn't know this, never having been a pregnant mom or a pregnant woman, right?
Yeah.
But the same thing can happen to a lady when they're like, so they would use like, what did Verity use? Some sort of like shea butter. It was like some sort of coconut butter or
something like that.
Something to that. But still, your skin, it's stretchy, and that's just what happens.
Especially after like a certain amount of pregnancies too.
Yeah.
Because like I've had people ask me, they're like, how can someone be pregnant for 9 months and their skin goes right back, but yours didn't? And I'm like,
years. Yeah.
And I'll use the same analogy. I'm like, take a rubber band, hold it there for 9 minutes, and let go of it. Yeah. All right, now hold it there for 9 hours.
Yeah, it'll probably...
It's not going to be as elastic. It's just going to be all floppy.
That's right.
And that's the same thing. Like it's 9 months compared to 10 years.
Right. So, so this is interesting. So, there's so many pieces I want to get in here. This is bad for my tangent brain. I've got like 19 things. Okay, so the first one is, not many people have ever said, I just decided to not eat sugar. Like right there, I'm like, because I don't eat sugar. It's been about 8-ish years. And everyone thinks, well, you're going to die. So do you still do the no sugar, or at least a relaxed amount of sugar or something?
I would say more of a relaxed amount of sugar.
Okay.
More of my struggle is carbs.
Carbs? Oh, yeah.
Like I'll have a whiskey and Coke.
Yeah.
That's the only time I'll have soda.
Yeah.
And then in the mornings before work, I'll get like a Starbucks coffee from the gas station.
Yeah.
And that has sugar in it. But other than that, most of my meals, there's no sugar.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it. So if I could give I always give free advice, but if I could give do a thing for your health, and it's stop eating sweetener. If you could stop eating sweetener, then all of a sudden stuff has taste again. Yeah. So when Hannah and I were talking, she's like, yeah, but you get that urge that you need to eat something. I'm like, punch it in the mouth. So you eat an olive and you're like, I don't know. And then you eat a pickle, right? Yeah. So you just get all these other senses involved and just get rid of sugar. So now it's not, does it pull on you, or is it I can eat it whatever?
Well, it's never fully pulled on me. It's just I've never been a sugar person.
Yeah.
When I stopped sugar completely to lose the weight, I was using honey in my coffee.
There you go.
So I did that instead, and I was like, honey's great for me. Same with cinnamon. I'd add that in there because it's super healthy for you, and I try to find ways to add it into meals and everything. Yeah.
So I think that's the thing right there is spices, cinnamon, paprika, whatever. There's so many other things besides sugar.
Yeah.
It's just sugar delights your tongue and spikes your mind. Yeah. Right? So, I don't know. I wish I could help people more in that regard. It is hard. It is hard.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if sugar has got you. It's hard. Yeah. But everything is hard. Choose your hard. Right?
Exactly.
There was somebody brought it to the gym a long time ago, and I totally stole it because it was awesome. It's being married is hard. Being divorced is hard. Being obese is hard.
Yeah.
Being fit is hard. I'm like, that's interesting. Being poor is hard. Being rich is hard. Choose your hard. I mean, there's no easy street.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. Yeah, so you got to choose your hard. So that's interesting. So you're sitting there watching the movie, eating stuff, and it just, what am I doing?
It was at the end of the movie, because I remember we were walking out, and I had bought cookie dough bites and one other candy. I don't remember the other candy. I still buy cookie dough bites. Yeah. That's my only sweet tooth. They're so good.
We used to make cookies a lot. I used to make cookies a lot.
Oh, cookie dough's amazing.
And I can't let him in because his feet are so gross. We call it cookie spoon. So I'm like, hey, everyone want a cookie spoon? And eventually we wouldn't even eat the cookies. We were just all eating the cookie spoon. Yeah. I'm like, so I think we have a problem. This is probably wrong. We probably shouldn't be doing that. Yes. That's right.
And so it was kind of everything with the bullying and everything had added up. Yeah. And it was in that moment I didn't even finish it. I spent $25 on a bunch of sugar and I only ate a quarter of it.
Right.
And I'm going to throw it away. Because I know if I bring it home, I'm not going to eat it.
Right.
Because I did the same thing when I was a kid with Halloween candy. If I didn't eat it that night, it's underneath my bed till next year.
Right.
I never touched it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a hard one. If it was a peanut butter cup, man, it was mine.
Oh, they're so good.
Everything else, I don't care about the other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is fascinating. So I didn't know there was a bunch of bullying growing up, but I think there are. So this is an interesting segue of Levi is starting he's maybe not starting, he's finishing off with this summer launching his Swole 60. So he's been trying to do this for years. Yeah. So it's basically, there's 60 days of summer and there's this thing called the Whole 30. So it's a play on words. So it's Swole 60. So if you're a tall, skinny, or short, whatever, if you're a skinny teenage boy, come. We're going to eat and we're going to lift. Because on the other side...
I'll have to send you my little brother.
Yeah, sure. So on the other side of it is, if you're big, you get made fun of. If you're skinny and tiny, you get made fun of, right?
Yeah.
Unless you find a sport like I did, like wrestling, they're like, hey, we need small people because there's a small person weight class. Yeah. That's right. Exactly. So they're like, your smallness has a use. And I didn't get made fun of or beat up as much once I joined wrestling. Yeah. So it kind of gave me a safe haven. But part of what we talk to kids about in Summer Strength and what we're going to talk to the kids in the Swole is, one, how to eat properly. But two, our coaching isn't transactional. Like, did you lift bigger? Okay, you win. It's transformational. Hey, let's talk about what you're doing and why you're lifting. You feel bad about that lift you missed. Why? Let's talk about that. What really is failure, right? Yeah. So we're trying to help them get a better peace inside themselves because, I mean, who doesn't need that? Yeah. So that's fascinating. You could find it on your own. Most people don't. Either they get to a low point or somebody pulls them along. So you found it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that journey like then? You're like, okay, I'm going to go into this CrossFit thing. How did you pick the garage? How did you...
There's a Groupon for it?
No, sorry, the Groupon. That's right. So you're like, I'll try that one.
I saw the Groupon and it was like, I was living in the apartments right next to Walmart right there.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was like, oh, this is right next to me. This is perfect.
Yeah. So that's funny. So it's Coach Lara, Coach Danny, and then I can't think of them now, but I can name 6 people. What's that?
I had Griffin.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So I'm saying they all came into us on Groupon.
Gotcha.
And so they're always making fun of me. I'm like, well, I can't do that because what would happen is we would like load up all these people and just hope somebody sticked. And so the coaching of our normal members was like down, and like we had like 100 people run through the gym every month. And I'm like, I don't even, it was so tough. So I've thought like, could we go back to not a Groupon, but tell our members, I will give you a 3 p.m. class or a 7 p.m. class that is just for like on Monday. Yeah. Like you want to bring somebody and show them every Monday at 7 p.m., bring them in here. Right? Yeah. Something that's not like, hey, let's just like throw it out to the world because I can't handle that many people, but something for you guys that says, I want them to feel or find what you have felt or found, right?
Yeah.
And it's so hard to get people like, just come in and try. They're like, it's so scary.
That's how my mom is.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah, I've tried to convince her to come in and try it. And she's like,
Stephanie?
CrossFit. Yeah.
Okay, wow, I can't believe
I'm like, Mom, Andy's there.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, you can do it, and we modify it to where you can do it.
I wonder if she's still in my phone. I should try to, I can't do it. I don't know if I can text while I'm recording, so I'm going to not do it, but I should invite her. So both Hannah and Jamie said they need a mom's class so they can bring their mom. So you would be the next mom. We got this class just for you. And what we'll do is pick things that you guys are really good at so you can be like, look at me, but then we'll also make it easy for them, right? So they're like, that was crazy.
One of the things with my mom is that she's convinced she can't jump to save her life.
Oh, yeah.
So like she'll go to jump and I can see it like all the energy leaving.
Right.
And it's just like,
That is a fascinating thing that I've seen over 15 years of doing CrossFit is you put a box in front of somebody, there is a 1-inch plate gap that they're like, I can't jump it. Then you shrink it by 1 inch. They're like, I can totally jump that, right?
Yeah.
So we'll put plates out and people will jump. Then you put like a 10-pound plate on it and they're like, I can't. You take it off, they're like, on. Yeah. You put it back, they're like, I just can't. And you're like, that is so crazy.
Yeah.
It's just, but that's in everything. There's mental blocks or whatever. Okay, fascinating points. And so you not only were you dealing with, hey, I'm losing weight, I want to be stronger, I'm trying to find a better fit. So how is the community for you? So there are people just like you who were bullied, and they're like, I can't go to a place that has CrossFitters because they must like eat iron for breakfast.
Yeah.
So one, are we normal people?
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part, what does that mean? Except for the Smiths, who are genetically designed to be awesome at all things. I have never seen them not do well at any of the. I mean, even with Sharon being like 9 months pregnant twice, she's still working out, and I'm like, I just want to catch up to her.
Yeah,
like she's wearing a weight vest at her belly.
Yeah.
So everyone else is mostly normal.
Yeah, everybody's pretty normal. I mean, when I started there's the Olympic weightlifting section there too.
Yes,
and so
that got a little bit crowded with us. Yeah, and I didn't. So they have their own place now, which is great. They're doing really well. At least I hope they're doing well. I see they're still there. I didn't realize that there was so much. Like I walked in front of a guy as he was lifting, and I was like, "Oh, he's about to lift. It should be really good." And then I got yelled at for walking in front of somebody as he lifted, and I was like going to turn the fan on or something, so I had to walk by anyway. I'm like, okay, we can't do this.
You can't get him out of the zone, man.
I straight. I was like, I was just walking. I mean, I was going to walk anyway, but I was watching and walking, and I'm like. Okay, so we did have that. Sure, that was a little bit different. We ended that. They moved over to a new building, which is great. So hopefully they were able to. Actually, I need to ask her. I haven't talked to her in a long time. But yeah, so that was a little bit different. So now it's just CrossFitters in there.
Yeah.
And we do some weird things. Like today we were doing handstand walks, maybe.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Which is interesting. So there are some people who climb the rope for the first time ever. That's awesome.
Yeah.
There are some people who've handstand walked for the first time ever. And this is like, as a 50-year-old, I'm like, this is neat. We're gaining back skills that we're jumping on boxes.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. So what about feeling like accepted or whatever? Was that pretty good? Like,
the community was great. That's mainly the reason why I came back again and again. Like I was on and off after I lost all the weight, going back to college and all that. Yeah. I mean, college will mess everybody up, just like the requirements, especially if you're bowling. With athletic scholarship, because we have the schedule like that. Plus, if you didn't have a 3.0 GPA or higher, you had to go to study hall for 4 hours every week. Oh my gosh. So in between everything we were doing, you had to find time for that too. And it was just like, always going.
That changes the whole dynamic of what college is.
Yeah.
I've told my kids, like, Georgia Tech was so hard. I've maybe wrongly, I don't know, convinced them, like, you don't even want to apply there. It's not even real college. It's so hard. It's like just being in math class all the time. So it's like being in a sport. They eat your life. You're like, I would like to go hang out with people. You can't. We have a meet in Kentucky.
Yeah, exactly. And the craziest part about Life Universities was that it was a quarter system, not a semester.
Oh, okay.
So you're taking 12 hours a week.
Yeah.
And you're in each class for 2 hours every single day.
Interesting. Yeah, so we were quarters as well, but they were switching to semesters, and now everything is supposedly, but not really, semesters. Very cool. So in amongst all of this stuff, so you've got a new community. You have got your lifts do really well. Like there are a few people that when we go to like clean and jerk or snatch that get under the bar well. Yeah. I'm like, he always dives under the bar so good. So that's whether you did it before or not. Yeah. I'm like, I don't even know what to tell you because it just that's good. Good job. I don't know. Yay. I think we did. There was one time when you went to a competition and the weight was so heavy, you're like, I got to do something different.
Yeah. It was when before Skylar and I went to Tennessee for that the Roswell competition. Yeah. And you and I ran through that one workout. And where it went 115, 155, 185. Yeah. And
you're like, I don't know if I can do that. I'm like, I'm going to tell you something that I wouldn't tell normally. I'm like, have you tried a split clean? And you're like, no. I'm like, weirdly, I don't know why, but it helps. And you're like, first time. I'm like, look at him. Look at that.
Because I knew I could do it. It was, I have to do it 6 times.
Yes. Yeah. Well, as long as you can get once, at least you're in that category. Yeah. So, okay, that's an interesting one. So you not only do, we're going to get to Spartan too. He's wearing the shirt Spartan, but so you're doing competitions. Yeah. And going out having fun. And it is fun to do. I don't like hosting him anymore. We used to host so many. But what has been something interesting from a competition that came out?
How much you think you can prepare and that you're not prepared?
Well, doing 3 workouts in one setting,
depending on the competition. Yeah. So I've done 2 so far, throwing up in both.
Oh yeah. That's good. That means you tried.
Yeah. First one was 3 workouts, and then a 4th one if you qualified. Yeah. But then the second one was 3 workouts and then a running workout. Oh. So you did 4 of them. Right. And that 4th one was for the tiebreaker if you tied somebody.
Oh man.
It wasn't fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a blast, but it's not a blast.
It is. Yeah. We went, the last one I think I did, we took a bunch of people to Rumble at the River in 2012. And I got into the second heat. So basically, the better you did, the heat's like the best people were in heat 1.
Yeah.
Then they got worse and worse, right? So I'm in heat 2. I'm like, oh, how about that? I'm in heat 2. This will be interesting. I get in there, and every one of the dudes, I bet you they could back squat like 600 pounds, and they could deadlift 700. Not really, but I mean, they were massive. I'm like, oh man, I am like a tiny little guy in this thing. I was like, I'm not.
There's the creator of Swole 60.
Yeah, Swole 60 right there. So Levi, grocery shopping, preparing for Swole.
Yes.
Yes, is that what it is? Just came back.
And just lunch.
And lunch. Perfect. So you got CrossFit or competitions, and then you started getting into Spartan races.
Yeah.
So how many of those have you done? Or mud races, because it's not always just Spartan.
I've only done 2. One I did back in, which is this shirt.
Okay.
I believe was 2017.
Okay.
So this is at a point where I was down 65 pounds, and I did it with Kirby, James,
Yeah.
and a couple other CrossFitters at a time.
Yeah.
And then I just did one back in March, which the first one I did was a sprint. That's a 5K.
Yeah.
Then in March, I did the Beast, which is a 21K with Skylar.
Oh my.
And it was during the cold snap, so we're running through mud and everything in 42 degrees.
And that was fun.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that's fine. Yes, Evie and Levi just got back from the gym and grocery shopping. So it's great to have teenagers that'll grocery shop for you.
Yeah. I'm about to go grocery shopping after this. So.
And so that is probably the best way to make sure you eat the right things is shop yourself. Don't so I typically tell them if it has a drive-through, I'm not going there. And that gets you away from most of the bad stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this fall, we're going to try to do some sort of big gym race. I think they said the Savage race is coming up.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
So I know there's no more Spartans in Georgia.
Oh, no?
This year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was something in Dallas, Georgia, or Ackworth, Georgia. Does that sound like a Savage race?
I can see it in Dallas.
Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay. So there'll be something in February, in the fall. Yeah, just make sure you wipe his paws off.
Yeah.
He was digging to China earlier.
Yeah.
Come on.
If we can get a bunch, and I don't know how it works. Like, do you register for a time frame?
Yeah.
Okay, so that.
So when you register, you'll put that you'll be part of a team.
Okay.
And you put the team name.
And then they'll.
And then when everybody else registers, they put in that team name, and then the system puts you together in the same time slot.
Okay. So what would stop somebody from like, ooh, I registered late. I'm just gonna show up and race with you guys.
It would be the time frame they're allowed to start the race.
But would they even know? Like.
No.
Yeah, there's too many. Like maybe there's no official like your number.
So when we showed up to this one, you had a certain wristband and it had your start time on it.
Yeah.
And there were people checking that.
Oh, okay.
To make sure you're going with your heat.
Okay.
So our heat was 9:15.
Right. So maybe you could sneak in, but
Yeah.
I just the organization of that, like everyone register for the same. So that might get kind of weird, but we'll try and get everyone out there.
Yeah.
If it's local, it's here in Dallas. That's not too bad to get.
Yeah.
to.
No.
Okay, so not only are you doing all that stuff, then you've also got. I mean, you are a hustler. Like I said, there's not many occasions that the older, back in my day, right? I'm saying that a lot, and there's not a lot of times when you look at the younger generation and you're like, yes, they're doing right. You're always like, they could do something, right?
Yeah.
But I see you hustling, not only here at the gym, but you'll have extra jobs, but then you also have your business, which is what?
Grizzly soft wash. So it's basically pressure washing and soft washing.
Yeah.
Soft washing for like concrete, brick, and all that, or pressure washing for concrete, brick, and all that. Soft washing, which is the use of biodegradable chemicals to kill off the algae in the root of it.
Okay.
And it also does zero damage to your house and siding and roof, because we do roof, siding, all that. This way, if there's a hole in like your siding or like some wood is rotting on your window frame, we won't tear it off.
Right.
And it lasts longer than pressure washing too, because it kills the root rather than just blowing it out.
Oh, gotcha. So, okay. So that makes sense. So, I know what pressure washing is. I've put the thing across my foot and thought I ripped my foot apart. So,
it feels real nice.
That hurts. And then I also fell in the trap of pressure washing where you're like, oh, that's good. And then you like go back over it again and you can never match the same color.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm just going to sit here and like go as far as, anyway. So the soft wash, and I've seen that. So I have some rental properties, and most of them are hardy plank, so no problem, right? Pressure wash away.
No.
But some of them are that, I guess, soft siding.
Yeah.
And so that would be a soft wash.
I mean, even the hardy plank we'd soft wash.
Oh, okay.
Any house siding will be soft washing. We don't put a pressure washer to a house.
Interesting. I like that. So no damage to the house. You can do roofs.
Yep.
Is there what is your sweet spot? So what location and what like house business or whatever?
So we're about 90% residential.
Okay.
And then about 10% commercial.
Okay.
So our main target area is higher income homes because it's a commodity.
Sure.
It's like plastic surgery for your house.
Yep.
And so it's more of targeting people who can afford it,
Right.
rather than people that can. That's like the main thing that we've
That's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, people are like, hey, can we have huge discounts? I'm like, if I do that, I won't have a gym.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, it doesn't work that way. Like, case in point, our landlord said, hey, we just bought the building and we're painting it, so your rent's going up by like $1,200. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I saw they were painting it.
Yeah, so they put the lipstick on the whatever.
Yeah.
So right, so they want people who can pay. We try to deliver coaching, mentoring, and accountability versus like Lifetime is or like an Anytime Fitness. Just come in. We don't want to help you, but we want 10,000 members, but only 1% showing up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So you have to know your market. So the other day, Danny said, hey, did you see Grizzly wash? And Jamie's like, yeah, I saw them on the way out of the neighborhood. She's like, that's Chris's business. She's like, what? So you were in her neighborhood somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, over in Town Lake-ish area, washing or businessing or whatever.
We were there the other day, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where. I've been to Jamie's house, but I couldn't tell you where she lives. It's like, it was over there by a lake, and I'm like, I don't even, the number of turns I made.
Okay, I know exactly where
I'm like, it was too many turns.
I remember that.
I don't know where that is. Okay, so let's say, actually, I was about to say, let's say, pretend I want to hire you. I actually have hired you. So I know exactly what we do. So if somebody's looking for, like what makes somebody say, hey, it's time to do a pressure wash?
It really depends on the person.
Yeah.
So we'll have people who will have like the most minute amount of pollen on their house, but they want to get it cleaned every single year at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
Even though we go back and there's nothing there, we still clean it for them.
Oh, yeah.
To the people who have been in the house for 20 years and they've never touched
done
their
anything.
concrete or house.
Yeah. Now that's actually satisfying. I like the post that you do when you're like, here, before and after, and you're like, that's, and then the after, you're like, oh.
Oh, yeah. I love those jobs.
Oh, man. Okay. So, is there a height to the house that matters? Like, is it too high, too small?
Too high is a thing.
Too small ever. Yeah. Too
high is a thing. We have a pole that goes up 70 feet.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's a carbon fiber pole.
Yeah.
Pain in the butt to control, but if we have to use it, we can. Most of the time, we'll go up to. We have a 30-foot ladder.
Yeah.
So third story, we can get onto the gutter,
Right.
and we'll.
Okay. Do you have that
there.
thingy that turns over and it can spray down the gutter? Then
No, we don't have one of those.
you just go up there and spray it yourself.
Yeah. So we'll climb up the ladder, or we'll climb on the roof. So like this roof.
Oh man, look at that! You guys can't. Oh my gosh, that's insane! It looks like a brand new roof.
Yeah.
You need to send me those pictures so I can put them in the doodly doo at the bottom so they can see what you do. Because that right there, that is insane.
Yeah, completely black roof, and afterwards completely blue and gray.
That's weird. So I would almost think like, do I re-roof my house? No,
See,
you could just
that's
pressure
where-
wash it.
So
That's awesome.
that's kind of how the Grizzly soft wash came about.
Okay.
My brother started it. He was doing roofing stuff with basically checking it. You have loose shingle here. Let me replace
Right.
it for you.
Yeah,
that
that's right.
type going door to door.
Yeah.
And that's when he learned about soft washing, because the way he target roofs is like, do they have black streaks? Okay, go look at that roof.
That's right.
And a lot of people still don't know about soft washing, that you can actually clean your roof.
So let me ask you this. You're looking for high end. Can you clean solar panels?
I don't know. I would
You should
imagine.
look that up. 'Cause I know a
believe we
guy
could.
who has got some, and they finally work again. So,
I would
and on my
say-
list is to go wash them, and it took me 4 hours to wash them.
Really?
I mean, not me. It's some guy, a friend of mine.
The only component I could think of is with the electrical wires on the back.
Yeah.
What we would probably do is I'd have a bucket of solution,
Yeah.
and I'd brush them
Ah.
rather than spray it on,
Yeah.
because I can control where it goes at that point.
Yeah. Well, they're out in the rain, so if the
Yeah.
rain doesn't mess with them.
Well, the thing is that we use sodium hypochlorite
Yeah.
as our chemical,
Yeah.
and that is a very good electronic connector. Like we,
NaOCl. I'm just making that up.
I was looking like, is that an engineer?
It's probably close to that. It's probably hypochlorite. Yeah.
So, because like we'll spray outlets with our water, nothing will happen. But if any solution gets into it, we've had outlets blow, we've had them smoke.
Yeah. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, no. So like with power lines and stuff, we always try to avoid those and stuff like that, just because it is so hyper conductive of electricity.
Right.
Because it's salt based.
Oh yeah.
And salt water is
more
more
it's
conductive than
NaCl,
fresh
so it's sodium hypochloride,
Yeah.
which is NaCl but with an extra thing
Yeah,
in there. Yeah. So we are trying to talk while my Great Pyrenees is chewing up my arm. And sometimes he bites really hard and it hurts. But so that's pretty cool. So we used you, and my wife is particular, and y'all did great because she's very particular, which is good. But that's a great mark on the resume of Grizzly.
Luckily, we're pretty particular too.
Sure. Yeah, y'all did really well. I should probably we probably didn't rate and review on Google. I probably need to do that.
As far as I know, I don't believe you did.
Yeah, I should do that.
Let me see real quick.
Oh, look at that. I love it. He's into his business. So here's something that I found that was super weird about CrossFit and entrepreneurs. There is an abnormal amount of entrepreneurs in our gym. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like either they literally have their own business, or they have the type of business where like they're the only one. Like I run this business. Like Meredith, she is at a Meredith. It is Meredith. She's not at a Meredith clinic. She's at a Minute clinic. But basically, she runs that business.
Oh, yeah.
It is just her. I mean, there might be somebody else that takes her on the off days.
Yeah.
But everything that happens in there is because she is doing it. From the diagnostic to the insurance to the scheduling, right? All of it is her. So there are so many people in the gym that are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And so I had at one point before we were all forced to stay at home for like a year.
Yeah.
We used to do the CrossFit Garage Entrepreneurs lunch. So maybe I should pick that back up because that was a lot of fun. Okay, so if I wanted to get to your website and hire you, what do I do?
So our website is grizzlysoftwash.com.
That's weird. So it's your name, whatyoudoo.com?
Yeah.
That's so strange.
And if you scroll down to the bottom, there'll be a thing that says for a free quote, and you put in your information. So it's like name, phone number, email. Yeah. And then that gets sent to my dad, who he runs the back of house at the moment.
Okay.
I'm working on training somebody to take over my truck so I can move into the back of house.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because right now I'm running the field.
Yeah. Yes, I've seen you come in like from a sweaty day, and you're like, now let's do some CrossFit. I'm like,
oh, I've worked out in my full work attire.
yeah, you just like had a day that you are, I mean, it's out in the sun and you're hot.
Yeah.
I mean, you're temperature hot.
Yeah.
Are you saying I'm hot? And I'm like, he just had a full day out in the sun, and you're like, let's do this thing. And then you throw it down anyway. I'm like, that is awesome. Most of the time, if somebody comes up and they're interested in CrossFit, and they're like, I'm curious if I should get involved in it. I'm like, well, what do you do for a living? Usually it's, I just sit at a desk.
Yeah.
Or I'm in the house. I'm like, yes, then you should probably do this. I've had people who are like, well, I'm in construction and I'm up at 5 and I am on my feet moving and lifting and walking. I'm like, you don't need to do more of this. You probably need a vacation.
Yeah.
You don't need, you can do it, but you don't probably need, you need stretching and beer.
Yeah. Yeah, and with mine, it's working in the sun. You're pulling 300 feet of hose around the house. You're doing 10,000 steps before I even get to the workout.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a lot of work. Plus, then you're also hustling. So when that business is on the slower side, because there are seasons for pressure washing.
Yeah.
And then I've seen you hustle at other places, and you're like, Andy, what's up? I'm like, what are you doing? You're like, I work here too. I'm like, what? You hustle more than, I mean, it makes me feel good about the younger generation. Not that I feel old enough to be like, back in my day, but I have said that a lot. And it's so weird. Like, maybe it's shifted and changed so fast. But
I can tell you this, there's not many of me.
No, for
just
sure.
from what I've seen in my generation.
Yeah.
Because I'm 25 in a couple weeks. So I'm 24, and I have a decade of work underneath my belt.
And you got a dog who wants to eat your arm.
Yes.
Just totally wants to
The Great Pyrenees.
So that's pretty cool stuff. So, and then, so the next big thing for you, let's do this first. So, no, we'll go here. So you have a new goal, and your goal is to buy a house. Yeah. So where roughly are you looking?
I would like to keep it in like the Woodstock, Canton area.
Yeah.
Just because our home office for Grizzly is in Canton. It's off Avery Road.
Yeah. So if you could stay local, it's easier to have everything local. Yeah, I know. He just wants to bite all over you. Here, bite on my arm. There
So try to stay local for that, and plus, born and raised on 92. I know everyone here.
Yeah.
All my friends are around here.
You've seen it change a lot.
Oh, yeah. I was here when the Sam's Club by AMF, that was a Walmart.
Yeah.
The Walmart over here didn't even exist.
Yeah. Do you remember at the Walmart, there used to be an Olympic fencing business?
Yeah.
That was me.
Really?
Yeah. It didn't work out.
You don't say.
We were ahead of our time. No, it was too niche, but.
Yeah, like Exit 9.
Now it's a
there was
Napa
no
store.
Exit 9.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's grown a lot.
Yeah, they've grown
Now
a
there's
lot.
just way too many people.
So, yes, weirdly, like 92 is pretty packed. You move one parallel road over, is that Arnold Mill?
Yeah.
It's like back in Bodunkville.
Yeah.
So it's not really too bad. You just have to get off of 92, basically.
Yeah, it's not really too bad. Once you get into like the back roads and you get onto Trickham and stuff, it's not too bad.
Even out here, there's not. Well, if you went up the street here, so this one family owned all of this land and they chunked it up.
The Henderson family.
Yeah.
We rented from them across the street from you, yeah.
So they chunked it up and sold it to some of their kids, and those kids then chunked it up in like there's a neighborhood right there, and there's a neighborhood back here. So it's funny if you look at the land lots, they're all like equally divisioned up, whatever. So yeah. So okay. So we were talking earlier before we hit play or not play, hit record. What about ball ground?
Yeah, that's a developing area.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
think that? No.
Yeah, I've cleaned downtown ball ground a couple times now, and honestly, it's a beautiful, quiet little city. I've thought about possibly getting a house in ball ground.
Yeah.
Because Hickory Flat is just south of ball ground. I'd say like that's a city between Woodstock and ball ground in Canton, and it's blowing up.
Yeah.
From when I lived there in 2014, they built good 5-6 new 200 plus home neighborhoods. It's crazy how much they're building there.
It is.
And it's just moving towards ball ground. So it's also, if you buy in ball ground and it's moving that way, your home's just going to go up in value.
So we settled here in 2000 and we started buying here and there rental property just over time. Fortunately or unfortunately, there was like 3 recessions, depressions, or whatever. So we bought in the depression.
Especially 2008.
Yeah, so you have to you can luck out and buy in the right time. So in about, I think maybe 2 years, the stuff will be at their all-time lows again.
That's the goal.
Yeah, and then be ready for it. But so I've talked to my kids about it. Like, hey, you've seen any idiot can be a landlord. I'm an idiot and I can do it. Like, you could do this too. So they were asking like, well, what do we buy in Woodstock? I'm like, well, if you went to ball ground, they're like, but there's nothing there. I'm like, yes. But then they'll catch up, and you'll already have property. So I like the idea.
Plus with ball ground, you also have Reinhardt.
Yeah.
And Waleska.
Yeah.
So
even Jasper right above them, but
yeah,
it is kind of weird. It went like Canton's big, and then nothing, Jasper, and ball ground's like, why did you skip us?
And then Cummings coming up a little bit too.
Yeah, Cummings
as well.
That's pretty big. Okay, so we got that. You got your business. You got Spartan races. You did. Ow, dog! The dog is chewing on me while we talk. So unfortunately, for a little bit, you'll be gone from us until you can't. You miss us too much. You'll be back.
Yeah. I got to try to save up to get for a down payment on a house.
So and it's that's a good goal. So February, fall, we'll have the Spartan race. So we'll be back in that. So we'll definitely see you then. What in CrossFit? What are some of your most favorite movements in CrossFit?
Cleans, jerks, and box jumps.
Yeah, you're really good at all those things. So that would. Yeah. What is your least favorite?
Snatch.
Yeah, you don't like that one?
Snatching.
It's interesting. It's a bar movement. You should like that one.
Yeah, it's the overhead squat aspect of it. I always fall once it gets over 95 pounds.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of it. I've had multiple times. Like, I attempted it back when I first started, and I'd just lose feeling in my thumbs after like 10 of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't be doing this.
So it does happen, like if we're holding in a weird way. Like I had somebody said, I do clean and jerk, and after like the 15th, my toes go numb. I'm like, well, I will watch to see what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it is interesting. Some things can happen. So those are good lifts. So I like the explosiveness of a box jump. I've torn my knee, so I don't jump anymore. Mostly I just step.
Yeah.
Unless it's in the open, then I'm like, whatever. I'll jump once or a couple times.
Which luckily for me, with the open, we had that 1 rep max thruster.
Oh yeah.
And unknowingly, I had trained for that already.
Yeah.
Because I was doing CrossFit and going to Crunch and doing lifts there. Because they have a beautiful lifting set there.
Yeah.
And I was doing thrusters at 165. And then I see that in the workout. I'm like, this is amazing.
I can do that.
This.
So you were doing CrossFit and doing more lifting.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's like too much. And an outside job all day long.
Yeah.
Jeez. I'm surprised you're still alive. So you must be eating like something like 5,000 calories. Like I would take a steak and a steak,
I'm
please.
always hungry. Yeah.
That's those type
Crazy
of things.
part is though, I don't really like steak.
No?
I'm more of a chicken, turkey, that type of person.
Interesting.
Burger.
Yeah.
But steaks, I don't know. I've just never really had a good enough steak for me to be like, this is good.
Yeah, I like any steak. Bad steak, like Gustons or whatever. Like you were you were saying it was called.
It was called Firehouse.
And
yeah, it was a biker church for GRT, God's Rolling Thunder, which my dad was a singer there. So me and my siblings went there every Sunday.
That is crazy. So another commonality. So we'll go there a lot. And they have a ribeye, which is mostly chewy fat. And I'll still eat the whole thing. I'm like, whatever. It's a steak. I'll eat everything. Okay, so what has been, in the journey so far, what has been a high-low buffalo for you? So high, good, low is bad, and buffalo is, like, surprising.
The high was losing the weight and being able to get to the weight loss surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just because I had brought that up to like my mom, I said, I wonder how much skin I'm going to have left. She said, we'll see once we get there. Or she'll see if we get there. And I said, no, it's once we get there.
What? Yeah, I like it.
And I remember saying that to her. And from like that point, it was like, I'm
doing this. Yeah.
Low would be COVID.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Nobody liked that.
I was stuck in an apartment. I went from 170 to 190.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously I gained some weight from that.
Yeah.
And the buffalo, the surprising part would be when I came back. Because I started back at 195 a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I was expecting to like drop weight like I did before.
Yeah.
Like have it just fall right off me.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
Yeah.
I would stand on the scale, I'm the same weight.
Yeah.
Stand on the scale, same weight. 6 months in, same weight.
Okay.
But I have a scale where it sends like the ions or whatever, the electrons in your feet.
The BMI type scale, yeah.
Yeah. And it tells you body fat, water percentage, fat percentage, and muscle weight. Mm-hmm. And so when I started, I was 195. I believe it was like 130 in muscle and like 25% fat from what it said.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not holding on to anything with my hands, so it's reading from the waist down, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And then when I stood on it again after a year, still 195, but I'm at 158 in muscle.
Yes.
And I'm down to 17% fat.
Right. And so you bring up a huge point that I sometimes gloss over, but this is actually...
I don't even touch the scale anymore.
Yeah,
I refuse to stand on it.
So if you want to lose... If your measurement is losing weight, I could send you to the moon. You could step on the scale. Gravity is less. You have lost weight.
Yeah.
We will change bodies, which is different. And we will make you able to, like in my circumstance, hang with the teenagers because I am, a 50-year-old guy with active kids and I can hang. Or if you're that mom, or you have a business that you're outside all the time, right?
Yeah.
So CrossFit doesn't always look like you're crazy fit. You have to change the way you eat.
Like here, I'll show you this.
Yeah.
So like this is when I started. Yeah. 195.
Yep.
Still 195.
Yeah, it's
a
way
complete,
different.
like,
completely
my
different
body
makeup.
completely changed. Yeah.
And so that is something that we would tell people, hey, muscle weighs more. And so think about this, how do clothes fit? So that's a better indicator, or we have that BMI scale. Yeah. The problem with the BMI scale, not many people know this, that you have to weigh at the same time every day. And you have to...
Oh, yeah, because your weight fluctuates.
Yeah, you can't have sweat. So if you have salt water on you, it's going to change. Don't ever come to my house unannounced.
Intruder.
Yeah, so that's crazy. Every time anybody leaves the house, everybody in the house wakes up and knows because it is a mess. So the scale is a tough thing to get people unattached to. And I wouldn't say maybe like, I would agree. Just stay away from the scale.
Yeah.
But it's so ingrained in all of us that people can't just walk away from it.
I mean, you also think about it, look at weight loss commercials. What do you see the entire time? A scale.
Yeah. It's not the scale, it's how do you feel? And that's why we track and measure everything. But anyway, so the scale, that BMI scale, so you have to, so you can't have had coffee, so caffeine will mess it up. It is just impedance of water through your body, right? So it has to be at the same time, before sweating. If you're a lady, you can't be on your cycle. So there's all these rules that go with it. Otherwise, it doesn't give you the right reading. And so you're using a tool that doesn't work. So we used to have somebody that would come in, they would work out, they'd get on the scale. I'm like, you can't use it when you work out. He's like, why? I'm like, because you're sweaty. You can't do that. And so they would like all the time, like, you're just going to get wrong numbers. What are we trying to do? So that's huge. That's great advice. People just stay away from the scale. Okay. So what do you plan on using this? Well, I guess you did Spartan races and competitions. Anything else that you're planning? Like, hey, I got new fitness. I have a new lease on life. Any athletic goals that you're looking to do?
I mean, other than dunk, because I'm 5'8".
Oh, yeah.
And I've always wanted to dunk. That's honestly why I like box jumps too.
It'll help you,
it helps with verticals.
I have a hoop outside you can lower.
Oh, I've done that a bunch.
I am 5'8" as well, and I can't dunk. I'm actually probably shorter now that I'm older. Yeah. I was 5'8". On my license it says that, but I'll never...
Yeah. At the moment I'm at 9.5 feet I can touch, but I can't quite get the rim.
I can sometimes catch the bottom of the net.
Yeah.
I can't jump at all. Okay, so there is a billboard in front of our gym on 92. If you had that billboard and can put a message to the world, or not to the world, but to the 100,000 people who drive on 92, what would you tell them? It doesn't have to be CrossFit or anything. Just, hey, what's a mantra or a motto for your life? Deep thinker.
I think your dog has your shoe.
Yeah, they do that all the time. Then they hide them, and you're like, I gotta go. It's so bad.
The easiest path is not always the easiest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Choose your hard. Life is...
Yeah.
That's it. Usually the easiest path is a shortcut that'll come back and bite you in the butt.
Yeah, because it's like with losing weight too. Like in that aspect, like you can work out all you want. So in college when we would work out, there's this majorly obese guy named Cody, like morbidly obese. Mm-hmm. And he'd always talk about, I want to lose weight, And we're working out. I'm like, that's great. Like, lose weight. But the thing is, he'd work out and then immediately go to McDonald's, get a large sweet tea with a whole breakfast combo with pancakes, like everything. Yeah. And it's like both of them have to go hand in hand. Right. And both of them are just as hard. Being committed to working out, being committed to a good diet. Right. And I think I love that saying, and I'll try to remember to put it in the title of the episode. But if you try to fix it fast, it's going to fail fast and bigger as well. Yeah. So I try to tell people I want to lose 30 pounds this month. I'm like, how about this? What if we lose 1 pound a month for the next 5 years? That's like 100 pounds. I don't know what it is. That's probably too much weight. That's a lot of weight. That's 12 times 5 is 60. It's 60 pounds. They're like, I'd like that. And keep it off for the rest of your life. They're like, okay, I could do that. So that's what we do is we can help people in the long run. But if you do it easy, you're asking for trouble. I know my mom won't listen to this, so I have to say it. I know, don't say it. Don't say it. It's not about her. I'm going to send it to her. I'm going to tag you in this, and she's going to listen to it. So don't say it. This is about Aunt Fanny. This is Aunt Fanny. Family member.
There you go.
It's not my mom. I can tell you that. It's not her.
There you go. Aunt
Fanny.
I
had a family member who really wanted to lose weight, and they kept taking the easy shortcut, like get fit fast.
We all have the family member.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's lost it, gained it, lost it, weight, gained it, easily spent thousands of dollars.
Yes.
Thousands on surgeries, on different techniques, all this stuff.
Right.
Lose it, gain it. Now she's back to gain it, and she's like, I want to lose weight. I'm like, you have to work out. Yes. Because a lot of people who want to lose weight don't want to work out, but it's like you have to work out.
That's right. That is like...
You have to do something.
You have to do something.
Yeah.
So I tell people, so most of my friends, weirdly, are 50. And they're like, Andy, am I health and fitness, is it in trouble? I'm like, well, tell me what you do. Like, if the hardest thing you do all day is the thing you do all day, you're probably in trouble. Unless your business is, I'm outside like Grizzly pressure washing, then you're probably okay. But if it's, I sit at my desk and the hardest thing I do all day is walk up the steps, you're probably in trouble. Yeah. And there's something you need to fix. Yeah. And that's just what it is. You have to change the way you eat, and you have to do something. So I tell people, like, do the mailbox challenge. You just go to the first mailbox down the street. Well, my street's kind of longer, but go 10 mailboxes down. And then tomorrow, do 11. The next day, do 12. The next day, do 13. When you get to the point when you're like, I feel tired and this is like tough, just stay there for a while. Yeah. It doesn't have to be incredibly hard. The reason I would recommend CrossFit to most everybody is it's the most efficient way to get full body movement in a very small amount of time. So everything will get worked out and you won't have missed anything. Now, granted, you may not look at my biceps. Yeah. Because we don't focus on that. But
no, if they come with it though.
Yeah, they do. But if somebody said, hey, you want to go up Stone Mountain? You're like, yeah, I'll go. And it's like, yeah, I can do that. Or if they said, hey, you want to go hike some of the AT? You're like, I can do that. It gives you the freedom to do whatever you want.
Because you cover all bases.
Because you cover all the bases.
Yeah.
But it does take time.
Oh, yeah.
It just takes
really
some time to learn.
Because like I said, when I started, I couldn't do a push-up. I was doing knee push-ups. I was doing ring rows.
Yeah.
So I was too heavy to pull myself up. And shoot, it wasn't even until about 9 months, actually about a year ago, I took the band off the bar and I started doing straight pull-ups.
There you go. So we encourage people to, we like, especially with these 2 months of trying to push skills, we want to encourage people to push that boundary. But we also try to be very conscious of sometimes it's a good safety net.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be like, get off the band. I mean, we did like in 2010, we were a-holes and it was like, you will do a muscle up and then you will work out so hard you'll throw up. I'm like, why did we do that? That was so dumb.
We're CrossFitters.
It was. That was just that's what they did. Everyone was tattooed, smoking and drinking and doing CrossFit. And you're like, you should probably not smoke and drink.
But so here's the crazy part about with me losing weight. When I was younger, I have 2 older siblings.
Okay.
It was 9 years before my mom remarried, had my little brother. Growing up, I was the only sibling putting on weight. And so we're going to doctor trying to figure out why is Chris putting on weight, but Matt and Lauren are not?
Right.
Because we all eat together.
Yes,
We're
right.
an Italian family, you eat dinner together every night.
Yeah.
So they know what I'm eating.
Yeah.
And we went to a doctor and they said I was insulin resistant.
Okay.
And I had a special condition that less than 3% of the world has.
Oh.
And that would be basically impossible for me to lose weight if I ever tried. It'd be almost physically impossible.
You showed them...
Because my body, they said, my body was in a constant state of survival.
Oh,
So every food I was taking in, it was turning it straight into fat.
Interesting.
Because it was in the state like, this might not be here tomorrow.
Right. And that's true.
Yeah.
Your body does do that. It converts and uses.
Yeah.
It's that. And so this is the opposite side of that is why people plateau. They're like, hey, I lost I lost 20 pounds, but then I haven't lost anything for like months.
Yeah.
Yes, because your body's thinking, what the heck is wrong? Why am I losing weight? I am going to try to work against you.
Yeah.
So you don't die, you fool.
Yeah.
This is why we try not to crash diet. You do it a little bit and your body's like, oh, this isn't bad. This is what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, that's been awesome. I think your message is good. You got the business out there. You're hustling. You got a plan for a new house. I mean, you got it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have my buddies renting with me.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Have them pay most of my mortgage.
Pay your mortgage.
Nice.
There you go. Using other people's money. Well, dude, this has been awesome. Thanks so much for headed to the McCann compound where if the zombies come, we'll be ready for them.
Awesome. I'll be here with my pressure washing stuff.
There you go. Yeah. And if you're at the gym tomorrow, I am coaching almost every class. So I'll be coaching you.
We're cleaning a neighborhood right now.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good business. Yeah,
so
you can't turn
it'll
that
probably
down.
be another 9-hour day
Oh,
tomorrow.
my gosh. Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't rain like it did today. So we worked out
work
today.
through the rain?
Yeah. When it's pressure washing, we can work in the rain as long as it's not like a lightning storm.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Then it just gets really sketchy.
Yeah. Because you're probably wet no matter what you do.
Yeah. You're soaked from the knees down and the rain's just, it honestly helps with getting all the dirt down the road.
Oh, that's a good point.
So I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully it won't rain as bad and maybe be a little bit warmer.
Cool stuff. All right, guys. If you're looking for soft wash or pressure wash, remember to go to Weirdly. The website is exactly the name, which is grizzlysoftwash.com. Right?
There you go.
There you go. All right. Take care, guys.